Hello, good morning, wherever you're watching. This is QTV This Morning. We are back again, and it's Thursday. I'm joined by my colleague Ansumana Eso Nyasi. And of course, Eso, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Balde. Good morning to Mr. Mbojan, to the viewers out there.
Exactly. We have a lot to discuss on this program today, as usual. I mean, we'll be doing the newspaper review, and of course, on Community Watch, KMC handing over waste collection trucks to WDC, and we'll be bringing that coverage to you on this platform. And of course, on social issues, we'll talk about the TRRC government white paper. As you know, yesterday, the 25th of May, at the Sadauda Kairaba Conference Center, I mean, there was a gathering where officials met to at least release the government white paper. And of course, we'll also go to the airport where Aliou Cisse is at the moment. The president is traveling to Equatorial Guinea to attend the 16th Ordinary Summit of the OAU. And of course, we'll also bring you that coverage. But what we'll do first, I mean, we will be connecting to Aliou Cisse. He is currently at the Banjul International Airport. And if Aliou is on the line, we'll connect to him. Aliou? Good morning, Aliou. Okay, we'll come back to Aliou. Eso Nyasi, once again, welcome. We have the African proverb. Can we go to the African proverb before we connect to Aliou?
All right, thank you once again, Balde. So our African proverb this morning reads, anyone who urinates in a stream should be warned because any of his relatives may drink from the water. I repeat, anyone who urinates in a stream should be warned because any of his relatives may drink from the water.
Interesting. Well, this is a warning that goes to, it's talking about future implications, future problems. Things might unfold tomorrow. So it's telling you to be careful because, I mean, the thing that you do today might haunt you tomorrow. That's how it's. Mr. Boyd, what do you think?
Similar thing. Actions for me, what I just thought about, two words: actions and consequences. You can just never predict consequences. You know how they would pan out. So it may come back to harm you or your relatives.
We'll come back to that. Let's see if we can connect to Aliou Cisse. He's at the Banjul International Airport. Hello, Aliou. Hello,
yes,
Aliou.
Bande.
Yes, I mean.
Yes, Bande, thank you very much.
Exactly.
Very warm, good morning to
yes,
our viewers from around the world. Welcome to the Banjul International Airport, where we are currently awaiting the arrival of the president of Cabo Verde, Jose Mario Neves, who is traveling.
Okay, if you can hear me.
Of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, on the same flight to Equatorial Guinea, Malabo, for the 16th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union Summit. Currently, we are at the Banjul International Airport, and the president and his entourage are already here at the airport awaiting the arrival of his counterpart from Cabo Verde. I mean, I understand once the president arrived here, I mean, he's going to be accorded a guard of honor. And because of that, we have seen the fine men and women in uniform here at the airport just to accord the Cabo Verdean president that guard of honor. Under normal circumstances, when the president travels, he is not accorded any sort of parade. It's just a simple departure. But because he's expecting a very important guest in the name of Jose Maria Neves of Cabo Verde, I mean, the fine men and women are here to accord him a guard of honor. But as we speak, the president and his delegation are all here, I mean, just awaiting the arrival of his counterpart from Cabo Verde. Like I said, I mean, they will be traveling on the same flight to Malabo, where they will be joining their counterparts from across the continent for this all-important summit. I mean, this summit is going to focus on the issue of terrorism around the continent and what has become a menace in the region, which is the unconstitutional means of change of government in Africa. So that is going to top the agenda of this summit from the 25th to the 28th of this month. Already we know, I mean, we have the Council of Ministers already in Malabo together with other security chiefs who are having their own session, which is going to precede, I mean, the meeting of the heads of state. So as we speak, Balde, I mean, that's what's happening here at the Banjul International Airport. And any moment from now, we're expecting the president of Cabo Verde to land here at the Banjul International Airport.
Interesting as well. President is preparing to land in Equatorial Guinea.
Indeed, I mean, Ali, it's not you know, very common to have you know, the president receive you know his counterparts from other countries, you know, especially when he's traveling out of the country. So, what does this mean as well? You know, what does it tell?
I'm struggling to hear you, Ansumana. If you can just come back again on that question.
What I mean is, I mean, you just informed us that His Excellency the President and his entourage are already at the airport, awaiting the arrival of his counterpart from Cape Verde. And, you know, I mean, from what you're telling us, they would be traveling together to Malabo. I mean, in the same flight. They'll be joining the same flight. It's quite, you know, uncommon, really. Hardly do we see that happening. What does it mean as far as our relations with, you know, Cape Verde is concerned?
Well, yes, like you said, Ansumana, it's very uncommon for us to see the president, I mean, travel outside the country, I mean, you know, going with his other counterparts. But, I mean, we have seen previously where the president had actually traveled to Nigeria, if my memory serves me well, with his counterpart from Senegal in the name of President Macky Sall. But, I mean, this is something for me which is a major issue. I mean, they're all traveling to attend the same summit. I mean, if they both can travel on the same flight to attend the same function, I see no issue as far as that issue, as far as it is concerned. But you really have to understand, I mean, the Gambia and Cape Verde, I mean, these are two countries that have shared a long-standing bilateral ties. I mean, if you look at both Gambia and Cape Verde, I know our news editor, Mr. Adedrame, who keenly follows development back home in Cape Verde, we will agree in terms of population and size. I mean, Gambia is likely to be compared with Cape Verde. I mean, these are two countries that I believe can collaborate, can partner in so many areas to ensure the development of their people. I mean, and having the president of Cape Verde coming here, I mean, to actually travel with his brother and counterpart, President Barrow, to attend the summit in Malabo. I mean, it's a good move. It just shows, I mean, the good bilateral relationship between these two leaders.
Ali, I mean, just a quick one. I could see the president behind you, and I could also recognize the justice minister. Who else is there? I know you did talk about his entourage being there earlier.
Yes, like you said, I mean, the president is here with his entourage. I'm seeing the Minister of Defense, Salim Modunjai, is here. I'm seeing the Director of Press and Communication, I mean, Bojang, I mean, the Chief of Protocol, I mean, and other security heads are all here. I mean, of course, I'm seeing, of course, Modu Baji, the security advisor to the president, among other dignitaries who are all here. I mean, some are here just to see of the president, but I'm certainly so perhaps the likes of the defense minister, Salim Modunjai, will be traveling with the president. Like I said, I mean, the main theme of this summit is looking at the issue of terrorism in the continent and the unconstitutional means of change of government in the continent. I mean, we have seen in Mali, in Guinea-Conakry, in Burkina Faso, and other countries where, I mean, we have seen what has become a concern for many Africans as far as, I mean, a change of government is concerned.
Thank you, Ali.
Exactly. So, Ali, quickly in local language, what ñu lu nekk di xew fofu ci airport bi at the moment?
jërëjëf Ibrahima Balde ak Ansumane Esonyase ak Mr Mbodj comme noo ko waxee rek right now ñu ngi fii fi nga xam ne moo nekk Banjul International Airport fi nga xam ne njiiti réew mi fi nga xam ne moo nekk président Adama Barrow mu ngi fii war a tukki war a dem fala ca Equatorial Guinea fi nga xam ne mbootaay Africa bi ñu tuddee AU ñoo war a am seen meeting bu mag foofu noonu ca Malabo and then fu mu nekk nii président Barrow mu ngi fii ci airport bi di xaar naataangoom ko war a jógee fale ca Cape Verde ngeen koo xamee si Jose Maria Neves ak nga xam ne moo nekk president of Cape Verde moom ak président Barrow ñoo war a ànda si benn si benn flight pour dem fekkee li nga xam ne moo nekk the 16th extraordinary summit of the African Union fale ca Equatorial Guinea so lii nekk na loo xam ne dafa firnde ne soo xoolee diggante président Barrow ak président Neves dafa mel ni diggante bi dafa rata ba waral ne ñoom ñaare mën nañoo ànd si benn flight dem fekkee li nga xam ne moo nekk meeting bu am solo parce que foofu dinañ fa waxtaanee li nga xam ne moo nekk ci wàlli terrorisme ak ci nga xam ne moo nekk ci wàlli coup d'état comme niñ ko gisee rek si at yu passé coup d'état yi bari nañ fii ci Afrique dem nañ Mali Guinée Conakry nga dem Burkina Faso coup d'état yi bari ñu ngi am te loolu nit xam ne loolu àndul ak loi so loolu bokk na si ñi nga xam ne meeting bii nii bi nga xam ne moo war a am fële ca Malabo njiiti réew mi nga xam ne mbootaay Afrique dinañ fa daje pour waxtaanee li nga xam ne naka lañ ko mën a saafare pour mën a gis ne lii du nekk loo xam ne dafa continuer comme ni nga ko waxee rek ñi fii ci airport bi président bi mu ngi fale taxaw ak délégation of ex nañ maa ngi gis nga ne moo nekk the minister of defence Serigne Modou Ndiaye mu ngi fii maa ngi fi gis security advisor Modou Badji xam naa ne maa ngi gis kenn ku mel ni minister of justice Dawda Jallow moom tam mu fa taxaw ak ñu bari ñu ngi fii ñi nga xam ne am na ñoo xam ne day ñëw pour gunge ko waaye am na ñoo xam ne dinañ ànd ak moom pour dem fekkee li nga xam ne moo nekk summit bi mbari ngolu mel be QTV jube kan ngal bismillah ka fale ko felente mbari jang live Banjul International Airport dula me yalan ko na banko nyaato ko His Excellency President Adama Barrow wala nyanta ka tama bi kata Equatorial Guinea Malabo dula me yalan ko Africa la nyaaton kolu wala nyanta mabila ji ka me African AU Summit e nyanta mesula Malabo ji abe damen to banko nyaaton ko His Excellency President Adama Barrow abe lorin kala nyomo nyobati me yalan ko wala nyanta ka bonang Cabo Verde wala Cape Verde la President Jose Maria Neves wala nyanta kananang aning banko nyaaton ko His Excellency President Barrow idole be tamal kata ni kuliti la klina kata Malabo pour que mabe nyimiti kumaba menyanta kela Malabo musidam won mi QTV Bodo Banjul International Airport the one joni President of the Republic His Excellency President Adama Barrow ko podo horiade hande pour ya toto nganda to woni Malabo Equatorial Guinea do ngada yesobe ledeje gonde Africa ko kambe foti hawton pour be heba o nganda ko witi AU Summit the one joni President Adama Barrow e mo fadde o mo nganda ko on woni President Cape Verde Jose Maria Neves o kanko President Adama Barrow foti yadude he abiyon goto pour be ya toto Malabo pour be tawe o meeting gonda ko meeting wadda solo be ko ton bakte kulle terrorism e kulle coup d'état gonda joni woni problème e Africa parce que en yi ko wadi ko Mali Guinea Conakry Burkina Faso leedeje godde dum non woni hunde ganduda be yesoje leedeje Africa so be kawri toto Malabo Equatorial Guinea dum woni hunde ganda ko be bakta dum pour be ngida hono be mata stop nganda ko apiri kulle coup d'état terrorism in the African continent. So basically, Balde, that's exactly what is happening here, and then we are just waiting for the arrival of the President of Cape Verde, Jose Maria Neves.
Thank you very much, Aliu. We will continue, but I mean we'll be monitoring what's happening at the airport, and we'll connect to you again.
Thank you very much. And once the president arrives here, we will link back to you for the parade and the eventual departure to Malabo in Equatorial Guinea.
Thank you very much. Aliu Cisse there at the Banjul International Airport as the president traveling to Equatorial Guinea for the 16th extraordinary summit of the AU, terrorism and unconstitutional change of government in Africa. These are some of the things that will be discussed at the summit as they await the arrival of the president of the president of Cape Verde rather. We will go straight to our African proverb.
Yes.
As it reads again.
Yes. Anyone who urinates in a stream should be warned, because any of his relatives may drink from the water.
Mr. Boyd, you were trying to, establish a very important. Yes.
You started it, really. Yes. We've already said it, that it's about actions and consequences. You really cannot predict, as it were, who would be harmed, by consequences. So when I do certain things, as it were, I should be very, very careful. When I do certain actions, I should be very careful that the consequences do not come back in my own house and harm me.
There's this local saying in Wolof where, they would say, if you're digging, I mean, when digging a hole, like a pit, for your enemy, I mean, be mindful how deep, you know, you
might
dig.
you might
So
end
yeah,
up
it's
falling
about
inside.
actions and consequences, really. Yeah.
Exactly. Basically, the proverb is telling you to, I mean, always think about future issues. I mean, problems that will come in the future. You might end up losing yourself to those things. So I think it's also a very important one. I mean, proverbs are not only, you know, we just don't have to read them, you know, and know the meaning without at least taking the moral lessons of the proverb.
So much wisdom in most of these proverbs. Right?
Absolutely.
That's it. And some of them can seem quite inexhaustive.
Yeah.
You can interpret. There are all sorts of ways that you can interpret these things. Really. So some of them sort of have sort of inbuilt flexibility, as it were.
True.
So in many ways, you might just see different things, different people seeing different things.
Exactly. You're watching QTV this morning, and of course that's the African proverb, and Ali Cisse, it's at the Banjul International Airport. We'll connect to him later as we await the arrival of the President of Cape Verde. We'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll go straight to the newspaper review. We'll be back.
It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow.
You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back from the break, and of course we'll go straight to the newspaper review. And as I mentioned, I'm here with my colleague Ansumana Esonyasi, and Mr. Momodou Mboj will be reviewing the newspapers with us. Ms. Eso, what do we have on that paper? That's Foroya.
All right, so on the Foroya, the headlines read, Gambia's GDP estimated at $104.9 billion. Jammeh to face prosecution. 2 alleged gunshot victims still hospitalized without receiving treatment. That's according to the Namfofonyi Councillor. Farmers lament low price of cashew nuts. Barrow off to Equatorial Guinea to attend summit for working visit.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll connect to Mohamed Lamin Choi. As you know, he is also at the KMC, handing over of waste collection trucks to ward development committees. We'll connect to him and see what's happening at KMC. Hello, Choi. Hello, Mohamed Lamin Choi. I know it might be very noisy down there.
I could hear, you know,
yes, the police band,
yes, police band,
you know, but I mean we will connect to him too shortly. Yes,
yes.
So
yes. So I mean those are the headlines on the Foroya newspaper, and I mean the final one is about the reopening of the honorary consulate of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire in the Gambia. Yes.
All right, this is the Voice newspaper. It reads, Migration and Sustainable Development Gambia supports creative cultural industries in landmark partnership with NCAC. And of course, Jammeh Njai Seidi to face prosecution over human rights crimes. Government immediately suspend all adversely mentioned civil servants. Of course, Banjul Central MP speaks on importance of anti-corruption bill and draft constitution. Halifa Sallah tasked journalists to investigate constituency development fund. Prosecution awaits Sana Sabali for over extrajudicial killing of November 11 soldiers. That's the Voice newspaper, and we go to the point. And the point is July 22nd Arch to be renamed Never Again Memorial Arch. And of course, government working on modalities to prosecute Jammeh. Government accepts TRRC recommendations to prosecute Jammeh junglers for Data Hydra's murder. Victims optimistic after release of government TRRC white paper. Government rejects TRRC's recommendations to ban Sonko from holding public office. And once again, you are welcome. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV This Morning, and it's the newspaper review segment. And Mr. Mboj, interesting headlines, as you so mentioned.
And many of them having to do with the white paper.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I mean, this is the hot cake at the moment. So I am not surprised. Almost all the newspapers are carrying this. If a newspaper is not carrying this story today, we'll be asking questions. So let's see. I-22nd to be renamed Never Again Memorial Arch. I mean, I've engaged few people when I saw this. I mean, people. Okay, we are going to rename the arch to Memorial Arch, but people are still going to carry the name I-22nd.
Yeah, that's for now, at least in the short term. But officially, it's going to be Memorial Arch, isn't it? So what a fantastic idea! Because it was mooted long time ago. We heard the rumors. Can you remember? Sure. And we were told that the government had rejected it. That was what we were told. We didn't know the plan. So I think that this is a fantastic idea. As we said yesterday when we were covering the program, that the symbol of sort of triumphalism, as it were. Yeah. But in the end, what is the reality of it? Really, so it's gonna become your shame, the edifice of your shame. And it was quite interesting yesterday talking to Fatu Jawo, the lawyer. Yeah. I mean, quite interesting. I mean, it's got even a poetic ring to it. The arch being a kind of witness. Because that I think they're going to have placards of names of all the victims in there. So, and the arch has been here throughout. It's been here for a very, very long time, hasn't it? Yeah. It represented, as it were, your triumph, but in the end, what was your rule about? Yeah. So, what we're going to change it into Never Again Memorial Arch, that would be really the true testimony of what you left behind. That's really what your legacy is in the end. Right there. So it's an extraordinary symbolism. It's freighted with really deep, significant symbolism. Yeah, and talking about symbolism, I mean, the reason I didn't like the idea of, removing the soldier, you remember the soldier, right? That soldier. The soldier with the baby. Yeah, the one just right at the entrance of the arch. I didn't really like the idea of removing it. I think they should bring it back. It's for me very symbolic. I mean, especially in relation to what Mr. Mboj is saying. Now, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, what you're trying to say with people, saying, others are even questioning why should we rename the arch. Now, I just want to say this. I mean, we were all here when Jammeh renamed 22nd, Makati Square to 22nd July Square. You remember the renaming of, Syed Job Avenue to Yankuba Koli Avenue. I mean, you remember all that. So for me, it's not an argument. I think, this is being done in good faith. I think it's being done to respect, as a sort of respect to victims. All right, we'll come back in a bit, and we'll be connecting to Mohamed Lamin Choi. He's currently at the KMC, handing over of waste collection trucks to Ward Development Committees. Hello, Mohamed Lamin Choi. Hello. There's a bit of ambience down there. We're enjoying the police band here. Hello, Mohamed Lamin Choi, if you can get us. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. About the soldier, that figure of the soldier, you want it to be back. But let us be careful here. This valorization of the military, we should be more civilian. Yeah. We don't want that kind of culture. Really, the soldier remain at the barracks. It is for external defense. Let us go back to original bright concepts of why these things
You
were
know,
created.
yes,
For
at some
me-
point,
for me-
I mean, I
for
do not
me-
seem to agree with Eso Nyasi that, I mean, we need to leave the statue still. I mean,
maybe I should
I think,
explain this
I
better.
think, I mean, seeing that statue, I mean, symbolize the taking over of Yaya Jammeh and his people. So it's still going to add salt to the wound.
Okay,
Saying
I
it
see
there.
it differently. For me,
Yes.
My view is that since the arch is being renamed as a show of respect to the victims, like, you know, it's being torn into this symbol, you know, one that we can look at and still, and you know, serve as a reminder of what we've been through. I think for me, this is where I'm looking at it. Not to say, you know, it's going to, you know.
Yes,
I
but
see it
I mean,
differently,
when you
actually.
look at it, I mean,
I see it very
to clarify this, if you look at it this way, why the reason why they put that statue up, because I mean the junta took over the country. I mean, those are the days that they put those things up, and everybody was like, I mean, if you go to the arch, you see a soldier with a baby, so it's representing the junta. You understand?
Well,
So
you
I mean,
remember what Mr.
still
Moore
leaving
said.
it there, but still leaving it there will still. I mean, it's still going to be a fresh memory of all
for
these
me,
things.
I see it differently.
So it's all part of the self-glorification. What do we have? Arch 22, and you mentioned it earlier, July 22nd Square. All self-glorification. When they changed Sarah Job, who was it? Koli. Koli. It was all about self-glorification
that's it
of
there.
the army.
I'll prefer maybe putting a statue of Deda Haidara, or
Well, I don't have a problem
or
with
Solo
that.
Sunday,
I don't have a problem
or
with
something
that.
that represent all the victims.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with that. For me, like I said, I see it differently. I mean, it's still about victims. It's still about, you know, having it there as a symbol of what we've been through. Like I said, to remind us of what we've been through. I see it completely different.
Well, people
honestly.
might think different. Maybe another person too might think the same way. Okay, let's try to put up that statue
And
still,
it's
the
still
soldier.
actually at the National Museum, and you
Yes.
have people going there, and yeah, so.
Okay, all right, interesting. Let's see how government is working on modalities to prosecute Jammeh, Mr. Mboj. I mean, people talk about it. I mean, and now, how are we going to do this? This is what people are thinking. How are we going to execute this?
That's a different matter. You're going to have all sorts of expertise that will determine that. For us, I think the important factor here would be government's willingness to go all the way. Government's willing, whether we're going to have the resources. So that's really what we should worry about here, because we remember some time back people like Reed Brody of Human Rights Watch and people like Salih Otar of our Bar Association, the president of the Gambia Bar Association. They've been consulting on other lawyers and experts in this field, seeing how best we can prosecute some of these people, taking into account the inadequacies, as it were, of our infrastructure. And even yesterday, the Minister of Justice also mentioned that. For us, how they're going to do it, that's a bit too technical perhaps for a general discussion. What I'm focusing on is the willingness of the government to pursue it. You know what I mean? With rigor, with vigor, as it were, so that things will be done in the quickest possible time. We don't want it to drag and drag and drag, and then you go and ask what's going on. Oh, we lack resources. How many times have we heard that? So for me, that is my worry, the drag and drag and drag, lack of resources and all of these things.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said yesterday, all of this leads to Jammeh at the end of the day. I think for me, I'm happy that the white paper is out, and I think, you know, I really join, you know, majority of Gambians, you know, to really, you know, thank the government.
Okay, all right. We'll come back to that. I mean, we'll go straight to the Banjul International Airport. We'll see what's happening there. Hello, Aliu. Yasi, we're back again, and it's very interesting. It reminds me of my school days when if it's like independent days, you go do the march, you know, that song.
Mr. Mboj will tell you how they would prepare for
I love the song.
such events back in the days.
How was it like, Mr. Mboj? I mean, your first independence. I mean, what can you recall? Were you at the stadium to march? Or?
You used to be McCarthy Square,
talking
right?
about stadium, oh my God.
You used to be McCarthy Square.
The McCarthy Square.
You just exposed when you were born. Yeah. McCarthy. I mean, the excitement then, I mean, you had to have your new uniform, the socks. I mean, boy, it was a bit like Eid.
Interesting. In a bit, we'll come back to you. We have Mohd Lamin Choi on the line. Hello, Mohd Lamin Choi. Hello, Choi. Don't enjoy the police band too much. You forgot the studio.
But yes, somebody was saying.
Yes, something very interesting.
Yeah, he was giving us a picture of how you know they used to prepare for national events, especially independence back in the days.
Absolutely, and as kids, in a sense, it was almost as big as Eid. It was a major event in the calendar.
So you're given new uniforms?
You have to, well, we are not given new uniforms.
But
You just go and pester your parents to have a new uniform. You have to have a new uniform, of course, because of the pride. That was something, the pride and the president, boys and girls. So you didn't see people in uniform much.
So it used to be boys and girls?
Yeah, you know, that was the catchphase.
Well,
the president had this catchphrase.
Was what, fellow champions?
Well, what happened, I can remember my first independence celebration at the stadium. Yeah. I have to wake my mom around 4 a.m. just for her to accompany me to the bus station to pick a bus to the stadium. I can still remember that. Yeah. You know, interesting. Yes, still we go back to
the white paper.
The white paper. I mean, government to immediately suspend all adversely mentioned civil servants, Mr. Mboj. I mean, what do you make of this?
Absolutely. I couldn't see how it could have been otherwise. Yeah. They adversely mentioned. You see, we want to reconcile this, but you know, we use the other word, justice. It seems only just that you were adversely mentioned, and you know, I think it is recommended that they should be banned from serving in public office in the public sector. Then you have to remove them. This is how people begin to reconcile. Yeah, absolutely. So you cannot have reconciliation without the idea of what is just, given any situation. What is the just thing to do? That's
I remember
it's inbuilt into this whole notion of reconciliation.
You remember when Sanyang testified at the TRRC and he mentioned how he was brutalized by Alaji Martin and his team back in 1995. You remember that? And then he said, you know, he worked with Alaji Martin in the same office, you know, for a very long period. And every day he entered the office, it reminded him of what he was subjected to by the same person. And this was his immediate boss at the time. So I think for me, it is only right that anybody who has been adversely mentioned, you know, by the, commission, and there is evidence, you know, of that the crimes you're alleged to have committed, you know, I mean, I think it's only natural that, you know, you leave.
That's it, but I'm sure the more he saw Alaji Martin, and you're thinking, this is the culture of impunity. It seems as if he had gotten away with it.
Nothing happened.
Not long ago, this person was doing these brutal, you know, awful things to me. Yeah. Now look at him. He's still in that position as if he had gotten away with it. Yeah. It is that impunity, that sense that, you know, he's gotten away with it, that really hurts. Yeah. So to begin to reconcile, some of these things must be done.
Definitely. I mean, let's take a look at the case of the former vice president during Jammeh, Aissatou Seydi. You know, at some point, her application for amnesty also been rejected. Yeah. And for Aissatou Seydi, I do not understand. For her, at some point at the TRRC, she was playing smart. I mean, I don't know if she was playing smart or if that's the reality, but most of the questions asked, all she say, I cannot remember.
Of course, she wasn't forthcoming at all. So this is it. She was trying to extenuate her involvement in things. She took, it appears as if, let's put it that way, she took key decisions, especially with that April, wasn't it, 10th, 11th,
yes.
that bit. So, yes, and she's been found to be among the people that bear the greatest responsibility.
Yes, she was literally in charge of the
country.
country.
She was
at the
in
time.
charge
Jammeh was
of
out
the
of
country. So one can see the reasoning why, and we've already agreed that people who bear the greatest responsibility must be prosecuted. Yeah. So the logic follows that she should be prosecuted.
In fact, that incident where she was involved, I mean, mentioned by the TRRC in the year 2000, the victims, what should be done, Mr. Mboj? What do you think should be done? Because some of them are still alive. Some have died, some are still alive, and they're struggling. What should be done to help these people?
Oh, we all know what we should do. That was why we integrated this notion of reparations to our whole commission, other commissions, similar commissions elsewhere, be it South Africa or Sierra Leone. I don't think they had reparations in their name. They were mere Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So we put in there reparations, and that would be a difficult one. Yesterday, the government, according to the minister, they had pledged, what, 150 million in the budget already, so they're going to spend that on them. Absolutely.
And I understand 32 million of that 150 would be given to families of the Ghanaian victims as well.
Absolutely. So reparations are very complex term. In some areas it may mean money, others health, others education. So it may mean any number of things. There will be different paths, different strategies of reparations, of implementing the reparations.
Yeah, talking about that, some of these April 10, 11 victims, you know, I understand some of them were taken, you know, abroad for overseas treatment. Even, of course, their conditions, you know, at least have improved, but most of them are still living with those injuries that have kind of, you know, incapacitated them in some way. You know, it's really
absolutely, and it should involve everybody. Yesterday, I liked John Charles Njai's idea. He is the head of Tango. That we don't necessarily just have to leave it to government. Why can't we have a sort of a citizens' reparation fund, as it were? We can all chip in. You know what I mean? Anybody, you can just chip in. But if it is nationwide, can you imagine really how much one can generate? So there are all sorts of ideas how we can together collectively trying to see how best we can repair a damaged situation.
I mean, at some point, I mean, most of our, there is a wall of saying which states Lua dafa sew, you know, and I'm starting to believe that. The case of Sana Sabali, if you look at it, Sana's case is complex, it's complicated. Sana is a perpetrator and a victim. So you can see he stands in these positions. And for his case too, his amnesty been rejected.
Yes, but let's put it this way. I am not sure whether his victimhood mitigates his crimes. I think there's a conceptual confusion there. One, let's remove that aside, But when it comes to the practicalities, we know that we want the biggest beast in this, and that's exactly the term I will use, that's Yaya Jammeh. So
all right, we'll be back, Mr. Mboj. We'll be connecting to Mohamed Lamin Choi. Hello, Choi.
Hello, Mr. Balde, good morning.
Morning, how are you? What's happening there?
Thank you very much, Mr. Balde. It's a very historic occasion that is about to happen here at the KMC Annex. We are witnessing the arrivals of guests. We have seen high-profile guests filing in to this program to attend. We are expecting the Lord Mayor. We are also expecting the chairman of the Q Group. Just recently, a few moments ago, we've seen the arrival of the party leader of the United Democratic Party. So it's a very important occasion. Everybody is excited. People are excited. Supporters of the Kanifing Municipal Council, people who live within the council are coming out in order to support this highly significant initiative that has brought changes, life changes in the lives of people living in the Kanifing municipality. So this is actually what is happening currently, Mr. Balde.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mohamed Lamin Choi. We will be linking to you again. Well,
back to you. Thank you.
Well, this is the nation's TV station, new era in broadcasting, as we promised to bring you all the happenings from the Gambia International Airport to KMC to our studios along Kairaba Avenue.
Live pictures from different locations.
This is QTV for you.
Only here.
Exactly. So it's important we're back again. And Mr. Mboj, let's talk about, these trucks that have been handed to KMC, War Development Committees. It's important. Mbalit, it's a major issue in this country.
God, how many times have we talked about it?
Waste management.
Waste management. I mean, look at the whole place. I mean, it's filthy. Let's be honest with ourselves. But this is it. The idea of having public-private partnerships. This is really the key, I think, in many ways. Left to me alone, lots of government services, I would have privatized them. Everybody knows about how I feel about privatization, even though I know that a lot of people are scared of the idea. But this is the way, not only for investment, you will get investment, but again, also for innovation, bringing in technology into the way we run our public institutions. So there are a variety of reasons, good reasons, why we should have more of these partnerships all over the place. There should be far more, really.
Exactly, it's important. But I think since the arrival of these trucks in the Gambia, a lot have changed. At some point, we've been seeing how packed it is when it comes to waste management in this country. Even to go and do away with the waste becomes a problem.
The situation is very, very serious. We have seen, yes, some improvements, we have to say, within KMC. You tend to see their trucks all over the place, sort of seem to be working. Even I think they had bins all over the place, but now you don't even see these bins as much. Is it about vandalism? Ordinary citizens, kids will go and vandalize these things. So this is the challenge. It is the management. You may have the resources and all the rest of it, but without good management, that sustainability we talk about is not going to happen. So it's good you have the trucks, but afterwards, how do you manage it? There appears to be this crisis of management all over the place. You know what I mean? It's not simply about the money bit, the money mismanagement. That much we know from the National Audit Office. That bit we know about that mismanagement. But in other areas, when it comes to processes, procedures, we just don't follow these things. True. So in the end, this is why things are not sustainable. There is no effective structures that you create a culture of work and results. And stuff like that.
I quite agree.
We have to work on that. That's really where the problem is.
I quite agree. Waste management has always been a problem in this country. And you look at KMC, I think, for me, the coming of these trucks couldn't be timelier. KMC is a very big region. And I remember we had, similar development sometime last year. And to have these trucks, I think it's going to be very, very helpful. However, I quite agree with Mr. Mboj. To ensure longevity, to be able to sustain this for as long as possible, given how important these trucks are, I think there has to be, proper management system, so they can serve.
If there's no proper management system, we are expecting a whole lot of problems in the future, because the generation is growing and things every day we are having new innovation. Things are coming. So if there is no proper management, it's going to be a bigger problem. But I hope, they will take good care of them. And
I'm not expecting a greater problem in the future. You see, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I am naive or so, but I see that the fact that a huge chunk of our population, they're young. Yeah. Most of, now people, 65% of our people, they're young, under 25 or so. And I think youth, that's really where my optimism lies. Youth, they're a potent force for change. They are not settled into, they are not anchored in any sort of bad habits and the like, and they're full of energy and looking forward to the future and that sort of thing. So I'm very hopeful that if we use our educational system well, that's where you catch them, and the awareness, talking, the discussions, I am quite hopeful. I think that that would be sort of what I call the underbelly. You know, there would be other consequences, negative consequences, but there'll be far more good.
Mr. Boyd, that's a very important point. The flight is landing at the Banjul International Airport. We'll take a look at that. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think this is beautiful.
It appears the president of Cape Verde is almost here.
It's trying to show you how united we are in Africa. I mean, landing in the Gambia, I mean, to take off to Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the mutual, I mean, love between the two leaders, I mean, that caused that. I mean, I think this is a very good step to emulate.
It's beautiful. I mean, we keep talking about uniting, you know, African unity and all that. I think for some way it has this symbolism, and I think if anything it shows that, you know, at least we're enjoying very good bilateral ties.
I mean, it's the 16th extraordinary summit
so that's the flight
of AU. I think something very important will be discussed and things that will be implemented in Africa, not only having the sessions, but things discussed to be implemented.
Mr. Balden, well, the discussion certainly that will happen to be implemented, I'm not sure about that. And these ceremonies, didn't we have at one point, was it the president of Senegal joined the same flight with Barrow? I think at one point they joined the same flight going to, I'm going somewhere. Yeah. Maybe they're just being environmentally friendly. Why use two planes when you can use one? They're just being climate change sensitive. You do hear these things. Maybe that's what they're doing. I'm interested in what they're going to say. We talk about terrorism and the so-called unconstitutional changes of government. And we all know why. Would they dare? Let's go to Guinea. What was it that Alpha Conde was trying to do?
You remember what the Bissau president, the statement he made?
Yes.
In the aftermath of the Guinea, you know, takeover, military takeover, he said we should do away with terms. We should, you know, do away with wanting to prolong oneself in power and all that. Let's have very strong democratic institutions. You know, your term ends, you leave, someone else comes in through the ballot, of course. But then I think that statement didn't go down well with some of his counterparts as well.
That is absolutely very important. You see, our bodies like AU, ECOWAS, let's stop. It shouldn't be merely a talking shop and turning into a kind of boys' club. Yeah. Where sort of we're just cozying up to each other. We all know that we are up to no good back home. Yeah. So when we come to this platform, be careful with these criticisms. But you need that body to be dynamic.
Yeah.
Really, you need it to be dynamic. So I loved it. I remember one time, was it within the ECOWAS context or AU context? It doesn't matter. It's just the same principle. When Mbalo and Ouattara.
Yeah.
Can you remember when Mbalo said that people like Alpha Conde or even Ouattara, why should they go on for another term? Yeah. And Ouattara was actually patronizing him, and then he had to respond, kick back and said, hey, look, you cannot patronize me. I'm also a president. Exactly. I might be younger. So we would like, and our president, he's in his 50s, we would like a more dynamic, more focused and purposeful younger cadre of leaders really agreeing with the older generation, wanting to change the culture of, you know, ineffective government, kind of lack of, there's no governance, no good governance, and then you're just there to enrich yourself. That's really the old way.
Well, you know, at some point, when I look at African leaders, I mean, the way they cling on power too much. Sometimes it embarrasses me, because if other countries are watching, I mean, the way things transpire in Africa, I mean, it's shameful. We'll connect to the Banjul International Airport. Hello, Aliu.
Yes, Ibrahim Abande, welcome back to the Banjul International Airport,
Yes.
where the president of Cape Verde, Jose Maria Naves, who will be waiting for us, just landed here at the Banjul International Airport. I mean, he is traveling with his counterpart, President Adama Barrow, to attend the 16th Extraordinary Summit of the African Union in Malabo. As you are seeing on your screens, that's the president, that's the flight carrying the president of Cape Verde, Jose Maria Neves. Bokki nga mi nang seetaan QTV den dalalat fii ci Banjul International Airport ni li nga ne mu nekk live images comme na ko nekk gisee rek mu nekk ni nga xam ne moo nekk di president of Cape Verde, Jose Maria Neves, moo egg ci fii ci Banjul International Airport war a ñëw jël li nga xam ne moo nekk naataangoom ak brodam président Adama Barrow war a tukki dem fale ca Equatorial Guinea fi nga xam ne dañu war a fekkee li nga xam ne moo nekk African Union Summit bi mbaɗigol ñin tamento président Jose Maria Neves Cape Verde la banque ñaton ko wali pour nan Banjul International Airport jang pour kana kala counterpart aning brother president Barrow siga pour yeta ñola Equatorial Guinea de la miano ko ibe mabela African Union Summit musi ando do joni president Jose Maria Neves o hewti do Banjul International Airport. I mean, as you are seeing on your screens, that's the president of the republic. I just understand he's also traveling with the first lady, Fatmata Barrow, who is also going to participate in a sideline events of first ladies from the continent. That's the president, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, now walking towards the foot of the aircraft where he is going to receive his counterpart.
Ali, I can see the president walking side by side with the first lady.
Exactly. That. Like I said, Bande. I mean, the president is traveling with the first lady, Fatima Barrow, who is also going to attend an event for the first ladies of Africa. I mean, it's going to be a sideline event, as you know, the African Union Summit. I mean, during the summit, there are a lot of sideline sessions that will take place, and the first lady of the Gambia is going to join her other other colleague first ladies from the continent to participate in that important session. Madingolu Nintamento Banko Nyata His Excellency President Barrow aning muso first lady Fatima Barrow ane wala nyata katama katu first lady fan nyata committee dole attend on the sidelines of the summit wala tina first lady Fatima Barrow ade fanang be tamalan aning Banko Nyata ko President Adama Barrow. Well, here at the airport, I mean, we've seen the Minister of Justice and Attorney General Dauda A. Jallow, Sering Modu Njai, the new Minister of Defense, Modu Baji, Security Advisor to the President. I'm saying Yakuba A. Drame, Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces, and other security heads are all here, I mean, to receive the President of Cabo Verde, who is just on a brief stopover, actually, as they flight out to Malabo, Equatorial Guinea for the summit. Like I said earlier on, I mean, this the theme of this summit is focusing on terrorism, and yes, that is the president of Cabo Verde, Jose Maria Neves, just disembarking from the flight that he is going to travel on with the president. He is being received here by the president, President Adama Barrow of the Gambia. He is now greeting the guests who are here to receive him. Badingolu abedamin to Jose Maria Neves Cape Verde banko nyaton ko wala portanang Banjul International Airport comme al nyabala ala screen or teng banko nyaton His Excellency President Adama Barrow wala naraka bendung ani na Minister of Justice Manager Jang Dauda A. Jallow, Sering Modu Njai, Minister of Defense wofana be janne ñin tambento banko nyaton ko anala counterpart Jose Maria Neves are now working side by side as they have their side talks. I mean, certainly welcoming him to Banjul. mbokki nga am ina seetaan QTV live dina xamal ne fu mu nekk nit nga xam ne moo nekk président Jose Maria Naves bu Cape Verde agsi na fii ci Banjul International Airport gannaaw bi mu egsee gis nañ ne président Adama Barrow nga xam ne moo nekk njiiti réew mi Gambia moo ko ñëw receive fii ci airport bi fii nii xam naa ni it's just going to be a brief stopover like I said. I mean both leaders are flying out together to Malabo to join other African leaders for the AU summit. He is now going to be accorded a guard of honor by our fine men and women in uniform. That's the national anthem of Cape Verde, and now to the national anthem of the Gambia. That was the national anthem of the Gambia.
That's the national anthem of the Gambia.
You had the national anthem of Cape Verde. Well, I mean, after this, the president.
Your Excellency, Guard of Honor, put by the Gambia Armed Forces. 6 officers and 96 other ranks on parade. In open order, ready for inspection, Your Excellency.
Well, now the two leaders are now going to inspect the guard of honor. Earlier on, you had the national anthems of both Cape Verde and the Gambia. And now they're going to inspect a parade by our fine men and women in uniform. Like I said earlier on, I mean, the Gambia and Cape Verde, these two countries are a lot in common in terms of size and population. And it is just fitting that they partner for the mutual benefits of their countries and people. inspection over. May I have your permission to carry on, Your Excellency? And the President granted his request. And that's the end of the guard of honor here accorded to the President of Cape Verde. Well, viewers, you reminded that you're watching QTV live from the Banjul International Airport. And this is really symbolic. I mean, having two leaders, brothers, I mean, traveling on the same flight to attend a function of the African Union Summit. This really tells a lot as far as the bilateral ties between the Gambia and Cape Verde is concerned. This is quite symbolic. I mean, it tells a lot. And Mbadingolo Nyintambento Banko Nyatonko, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, and President Jose Maria Navis, they're going to have a brief stopover. I'm sure they're going to have a brief discussion in that VIP bus you were saying before flying out to Malabo. Earlier on, you saw fine men and women in uniform accorded the president a befitting guard of honor. Well, viewers, I mean, you're still watching QTV, and we're broadcasting live from the Banjul International Airport, bringing you live images of the arrival of the President of Cape Verde, who is on a brief stop over here. I mean, as he travels to Equatorial Guinea. He will be joined by his counterpart, President Adama Barrow, who had just received him here at the Banjul International Airport before the two leaders traveled to Equatorial Guinea. And Sumana Nyoso, Nyasi and Ibrahim Balde, this is exactly what's been happening here.
Yes.
And I mean, the two leaders are now having a closed door talks inside that VIP bus you're saying right behind me. But I mean, like I said, I mean, this is significant. It's significant for both Cape Verde and the Gambia and Sumana.
Very much, Aliu. I mean, I have to say that. I mean, he's been doing a wonderful job for us since morning, and yes, quite significant. And you know, it's beautiful. This is what we want to see in Africa, especially, I mean, in the sub-region. You know, so it's really very beautiful, I have to say.
It's beautiful.
And to me, our president is in good company.
Absolutely.
Cape Verde regarded as really a model of democracy. And what we hear from the people who know it, and even when you Google how well the machinery of state is being run, the bureaucracy run well, things are wonderful.
I'm sure
I hope they have a nice chat on the way. They'll exchange notes.
Yeah.
How have you done this? How have you done that?
Well,
how have you done
well, this is one image really Mr. Adi is going to love.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yes. But Ali, I mean, Ali, so when do we expect them to leave? Do we have any idea?
Well, for now, I can't tell when we expect them to leave, but I'm sure it might. Like I said, I can independently confirm at this stage as to what time exactly are they leaving. I'm just saying the flight that brought in the president of Cape Verde is now taxiing. I'm not sure whether it is leaving the airport or it is just parking somewhere else. But I mean, under normal circumstances, I think if the flights will have been here to wait for them, if they are actually their closed door meeting here, it's not going to last long. But like I said, at the moment, I can't independently confirm as to how long he's going to stay here at the airport before they fly out to Malabo.
Okay, all right. We'll connect to Ali
again,
later, to see the development. And of course, viewers, I mean, that's Banjul Ali, thank you very much. And that's Banjul International Airport. So I don't know what's happening at the KMC.
You know, Pele, I'm loving this. I mean, it's been for me a wonderful morning.
Yes.
Being able to bring our viewers, you know, live images. That's the mayor of KMC being welcomed. This clearly, I could see supporters of the UDP in their party T-shirts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's also looking quite bright this morning. I have to say that, I mean, this is beautiful, but it's amazing
to
be able to do this for our audience, bring them live images, you know, from different locations. It can only happen on this platform. So, you know, yeah.
So
it's beautiful.
We'll see what's happening at the KMC later. As I can see on the images, I mean, the CEO of the Q Group, it's already seated with other officials of KMC.
Yeah, I see the UDP party leader
the
as
UDP
well.
party, yeah. and a whole lot of people getting ready for the handing over of the truck. So I know it wouldn't be a very small event. It's
Well,
going to be
this
huge,
is
yes.
a very important event. This handing over of the trucks. You know, we did talk about how, you know, waste management has been a problem, you know, ever since. And the fact that we have these trucks, I think it's going to help a lot, especially in addressing, you know, challenges around waste management in this country, especially within the Kanifing municipality.
Exactly.
Remember last year, you know, we had trucks that were, you know, delivered as well. I think there were about 10 or so. So, I mean, having these trucks again, you know, in addition to those ones that are still
well, and when you look at
the
the trucks that were delivered previously, they were effective. I mean,
they're still on, functioning very well.
Exactly. So I think it's important if you were to have another set of trucks added to those ones. I mean, I believe if things are coordinated well, very soon we will be able to control waste management.
I mean, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, we know that it has always been a problem. It's a challenge, not only in the Gambia. I mean, it's everywhere. But then, you know, we have been dealing with this problem for quite a very long time. But, you know, we've seen how things are changing in recent years. And like I said, the coming of these trucks as well is going to help address challenges, you know, around waste management, especially within the region.
Mr. Mboy, if I may ask, I mean, what do you think, I mean, from your own point of view and your own ideas, what do you think should be done to monitor, I mean, these trucks well, I mean, to be coordinated?
This is not a matter of one's own point of view, one's own this or that. It's simply what is good practice. These things are objective. It's not a matter of what Mr. Mboy wants or what anybody else
I think
wants.
they're observing the national anthem at the
Exactly.
KMC.
Thank you, Gambia Police Band. Under the pragmatic leadership of the Lord.
Exactly.
Yes.
I can see lawyer Hussein Dabo.
Yes,
also.
I did mention that earlier.
Yes, he's also part
he's
of
in
the-
attendance.
Yes.
The Q Group chairman, of course. We know that KMC is partnering with
And
Espas
here is
Motors.
the mayor.
Yes, that's the mayor arriving.
Exactly, that's Talib.
So Balde, I mean, I have to also say that Espas has also been very helpful as a partner in ensuring that these trucks are available. And really, it tells you just how much the Q Group, you know, is also, you know, working really around ensuring that, you know, there is that all the services that people really need,
Exactly.
you know, are delivered to the Gambian people. You know, quality services at quite affordable prices. So,
Well, at some point, I mean, this is done through Espas, you understand? We know Espas is reliable. They know the services that they can offer. So, I mean,
so the Q Group is reliable.
It's reliable. It's not a mistake. I mean, it comes through them. You know,
Yep.
someone must do this. I mean, to make sure we control this waste we have in this country. I think this is one of the projects that are very important in this country.
Indeed.
Yes, Mr. Boy.
And it begins with us.
It begins with us. I mean,
Absolutely.
exactly. So we are running out of time. We'll be connecting to KMC, and you can follow the rest of our programs. We will be continuing straight to KMC, and Moulamin Choi is there. So thank you very much, viewers, for watching this morning. Until we come your way again on Monday. Bye for now. What did I do? They said I should sign out.
Bulgawa.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Check out the all-new Tigo 8 at S-Pass Motors. Call 3522-222 or 353-2222 for more information. Cherry.
Manager bi ko la bila ko jàppaleel yaa ñu text ñuy texante di wax xay ma wane loo xam ne Talibel Sudan koo def Talibel Sudan nekkut meeyoo rek de waaye cleansing service supervisor la man seen ne naa loolu man my head of anti-littering every day mu ngi call Talibel Sudan emotin cleansing service supervisor waaye Talibel Sudan nekk na works and planning supervisor Talibel Suda dafa wàcce airport dem mu call ma mu ne ma dëkk bi dafa tilim Lamin ma ne ko wax dëgg ne yàlla dëkk bi dafa tilim ma ne ku am dëkk bi ak ha da ko liggéey ñu gis ko da ko liggéey ñu gis ko wax nañ ne depuis tani KUDC ñu ngi fi li fi def kenn musu ko fee def taju na dem Talibel Suda tajune ko mobe man angale ko muy na ko angale ko wala mo dalon la way li dama intent pour wala mo ko wa ko bari ko suda e ka mo ni no ko ni sabu ya sa wala ko ko la amon lo ki sa te ni ko ma da mo da na ko da mo da ma la da angale wala na ko la ko ay ado ko wala na ke nti mo ni ko Osman sa do se ni su zuma da de de ben da shiru da ay bi ka su ka su ni ala ko da da se e ko fo da mo ba manager works and service Idi Njai dinga tie ñëwé manager works and director works and service kontaan nañ wura tey ba ci germante la dinañ jërëm ñaari ponkali fi toog mooy Ahmed Talibel Suda ak Mohamed Dia dinañ la jërëm jàppulo jërëjëf li nga jàppale sa rakk gi anywhere it's fine nii mooy liggéey réew soo amee alal da koo dugal ci réew nit ñi am si njëriñ waaye nga am alal nga sampa sa état yoo kenn ak sa famille amul njëriñ waaye jërëjëf jàppuloo fi mu nekk nii e bonne bi people yëpp yaa ngi leen a setal yow biñ amee idée bi nga ànd see KMC jërëjëf jàppuloo dinañ ko wax dañoo te looya daabo ñaari ñi ñu baax lañ ma ne Talib amee benn suula ba fi ñëwee sonalu kenn daawul kenn ñëpp la taxa waxoon naa leen fii nii man kay fixaat si laa nekkoon benn comme na moo waaye nag ma gis sa xor ma ànd see man mu ne ma laa ngi liggéey dee yàlla na soo liggéey ma ànd yow moom nit ku baax rek la buga bugut pati fii bugut pati KMC de ku baax rek la fi buga waaye jërëjëf Jaane Kajaani Jaane ya baraka they go 4795D. The beacon is blocking the movement. 4795D. Somebody do this. Somebody do this. Somebody do this. Success. You are highly welcome. Balal denal be dina la turam ko ko butu balal nga fo mo de be keri. Ko e tabi Muhammad Jannah tani mo am tabe